What's up, guys? We are back with episode number 2 of Good Time Outdoors, New Mexico, aka NM Keep It Real. So, like I said before, my name is Juan. Glad to be back this week. Last week we talked about the all-in mag scope, and the product review was really good. I like the product so far. So if you want to check that out, go to my last video and go in the description. The link is in the description for all-in mag scope. So if you watched last week's video, you would know that this week we are doing Phelps Game Calls 3-pack signature series of the amp diaphragms that I recently ordered. So a lot of hunters don't like using diaphragms because some people feel like it's too uncomfortable in their mouth, or they can't get the right sound out of it, or the airflow is not right, or something like that. In my opinion, diaphragms sound way clearer than bite down reeds or anything like that. Open reeds are really close competition as far as cow sounds go. But so diaphragms are really versatile when it comes to elk sounds. So you can make bull sounds, cow sounds, calf sounds even, which is really good. Is what I like about elk hunting, is that it's really bang bang situation. So you need to have a diaphragm in your mouth. So if you're at full draw, you can stop the elk, or if he goes in a lane, you can stop him before he gets out of a shooting lane. Okay, good time, crew. So to start us off first, we are gonna do the Maverick reed, which is the red and green latex, as you can see there. Really good reed in my opinion. I've been using this, not the same reed, but this specific reed for about 3 years already, and I've had really good luck with it. It makes good cow sounds, good bull sounds. So I really like the way this reed performs. Next on our roster is going to be the Charlie Smith Purple Series. This is an amp diaphragm as well. It comes from Phelps Game Calls, who manufactures it. This reed is a really good reed. Really sweet sounding bugles come out of this. I don't really do too much cow sounds with this one. I usually save that for my Maverick. So I really like that reed as well when it comes to bull sounds. Here's the next one on our roster. It is going to be the Pink Signature Series by Phelps Game Calls as well, obviously. This is my first year ordering one of these reeds, so we're going to see how it works this year. And I also ordered a herd wrecker, which is supposed to be a really stiff latex for bugles strictly. Haven't broken it in yet, so it's still kind of hard to blow out of, but other than that, I like how it performs so far. Alright guys, next we're going to get into my favorite part of elk hunting, which is the bull sounds. And there's so many different bull sounds that they make, man. There's just, if you pay attention long enough, watch enough videos, educate yourself on elk, you'll know that there's more than one bugle. It's so fun to actually communicate with elk and learn the language and how much emotion they put into what they're saying. So it's really fun to learn that and kind of know what they're saying and be able to talk to them as well. All right, guys, to start off with the elk bull sounds, we are going to use the Smith diaphragm, which is the purple one. And today I brought out my metal bugle tube. You can get these also on PhelpsGameCalls.com. They have these, and this is a highly recommended product from me, man. I've called in so many bulls with this thing, and it's only been out a year. So that tells you a lot about how much I like this and how much it's actually worked for me. Metal bugle tube, Phelps Game Calls, really compact, really light for being metal. You can kind of take it anywhere you need to go, keep it in your hand, won't bother you. Metal bugle tube, 10 out of 10 so far. So first we're going to do the location bugle, which is going to be kind of like a, hey, I'm over here. If anyone else is out there, kind of let me know, whatever you got to do. So location bugle's kind of smooth, just kind of, hey. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like and sounds like. like I said, real sweet, just kind of one high-pitched note, drop it down, and that's just kind of get a response from other elk. I usually do that call when I'm first leaving the truck, just kind of know which direction I need to go, where the elk started, where they were the night before, if they've moved. That way we're not starting on opposite hills, if that makes any sense. So this next one is also going to be with the Smith reed. It's going to be the display bugle. A lot of people say that this is the bugle that they let out whenever they're trying to show off for the cows, show their dominance, stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and show you that. Okay guys, so like that one was a little bit higher pitched, kind of showing, hey, I'm the dominant bull here and no one's gonna come mess with my ladies. So that's what that one sounds like. It works sometimes. I mean, for me, usually I like going aggressive, which isn't always good, but it works sometimes it doesn't. It just kind of depends. All right guys, next is gonna be the challenge bugle, and I'm gonna use the Maverick reed, red and green. Says Maverick on it right there in case you want to order one. It always tell you what it is. Challenge bugle is not talking to cows, really. It's more talking bull to bull, saying, hey, I'm here, I'm in your neighborhood, and I'm going to come take your cows from you. There's nothing you can do about it. So this one, more emotion, a little bit of lip ball, raspy, just kind of getting ugly. You know, I mean, if you think about it, if someone tried to come steal your girl, this is kind of how you would react, if you would. Okay, so here is the challenge bugle on the Maverick reed. Okay guys, and that's going to be the challenge bugle. Like I said, it's kind of challenging other bulls, saying, hey, I'm here, I'm not going away until you push me away. And a lot of times that can call a bull over to you, telling him, hey, I'm ready to fight, let's go. All right guys, next is going to be the grunts. If you've been around elk long enough, you know that they're always making sounds, man. They're never really quiet per se. The bulls will let out these sounds in frustration. If you're cow calling to them and they haven't seen another elk yet, they'll let out these grunt sounds, kind of like a, hey, show yourself before I get out of here because I'm not really interested anymore. So you can use these to your advantage as well, saying, if you're talking to another bull, you start doing grunts, saying, hey, I don't really think that I want to go any farther. You need to come to me. So that's what this is going to sound like on a Maverick reed. And like I said, it's just kind of a bull telling another bull or a cow or anybody in the herd, hey, you need to show yourself before I got to get out of here. All right, guys, next on our list is going to be what most elk hunters want to learn, and it's going to be the lip ball bugle, which is kind of a roundup bugle, if you will. It's kind of telling all his cows, if they're moving to the bedding area, saying, hey, I need all of you here now, and we're all moving together. So roundup bugle, lip ball bugle, whatever, however you want to call it, that's what this is going to sound like. And this is one of my favorite ones to do. Sometimes it's a little aggressive. You got to be careful how you use it and when you use it, because you can scare elk off this way. All right, guys, so this is the lip ball on the Charlie Smith purple diaphragm. And to me, if I hear that in the woods, it's not always going to mean that it's the biggest bull. It might be the most dominant bull in the area. Another rule of thumb: you can't really judge elk off their bugle, so you got to kind of be careful with how you use that. When you use it, you can push smaller bulls out of the area, so just be careful how you use that one. Okay, guys, so as far as elk sounds go, on the cow side of things, you're looking at anything from mews to cow calf sounds to contact buzzes. A lot of people call them estrus buzz, and then the forbidden bark, as I like to call it, which is a sound you don't want to hear in the woods when you're elk hunting. So in this video, I'm gonna kind of blow every kind of call that I have, but I'm gonna do certain diaphragms to certain sounds, so just kind of so you can hear what each one sounds like. I'll explain which diaphragm I have in my mouth before I start, so that's how it'll go with that part. So as far as cow sounds go, if you're a beginner, where you would start at was making mew sounds. So if you look on other people's YouTubes and stuff, you'll see a lot of people, majority of people, say that you need to make a mew sound with your mouth. And when you do that, it's not all in your lips, it's more of your tongue pressure. So you don't really make the actual mew sound with your mouth. What I do to help that is I make a knee-ah sound. So like kneecap, knee-ah. And it really helps me get the nasally sound in the diaphragms. And I think it sounds really good, and it's worked for me a lot the past few years. So I'll go ahead and show you what that sounds like with the Maverick reed. That's going to be the red and green one. Okay, so here's mew sounds with a Maverick reed. So, like I said before, mews are about as basic as it gets. It's kind of the baseline where you want to start learning. If you do need to start learning how to use diaphragms, what I see a lot of people do is hold their tongue right here and keep a high-pitched sound for as long as you can and drop it off. So it's kind of like a music octave. So you want to build your way up and then drop it down. And that's going to help you get the feel of the reed and kind of close off your air pressure where you need to and stuff like that. So that's a really good drill that you can kind of use to get familiar with diaphragms. That's going to sound like this. So if you do that a bunch of times over and over, you'll eventually get the sounds you need to as far as mews, bugles. If you do that, you can kind of get anywhere you need to go with elk sounds. Okay, guys, so next on the list is cow-calf sounds. This is really good for when you're close around herds, stuff like that, and say a cow and a calf got separated from the herd and they're trying to find their way back. You can usually locate cows or a bull with this sound that I'm about to make right now. So it's going to be a cow and a calf communicating, trying to reach the rest of the herd. So as far as cow calf sounds go, that's about all you'll really need. Usually the cow is deeper, more kind of relaxed tone, and then the calf is more kind of hit it sharp and end it really quick. So that's kind of how I do my calf sounds and my mews. Basically, it's a mew and a calf sound. All right, guys, so next on the list is going to be the contact buzz, or the estrus buzz, a lot of people like to call it. Whenever they make this sound, they're either separated from the herd and want other elk to come to them so they can meet up, or it's going to be when a cow elk is nearing the end of its cycle, I guess you can say. Cycle, okay? Okay, cycle. When they end near their cycle and they need to reproduce in order to make the herd bigger, they'll make this sound in order to let the bull know that it's time and we need to hurry. That's kind of what a contact buzz means. A lot of people do activate their vocal cords in this call, and it does work at times. I think it sounds a little fishy, but I mean, to each their own. This is the way I do it. I do it the same way you would do a lip ball, which we'll get into later in the video. But at the beginning of my call, I go like this. So kind of like you're making a fart noise, basically. But you kind of begin it like that and end it with a cow sound, and it'll give it the nasally sound that you need. So it'll sound is what your lips will look like whenever you make this call. So you do that and make a cow sound at the same time. It's going to sound like this. I'm going to use the Maverick reed for this one. That's going to be the red and green one. So that is a way that I do the contact buzz, and for me, it's worked really good so far. Really gets the elk fired up, kind of bugling back and forth. If you get caught in between two herds, you might be able to lucky and call in two bulls. You might be able to call on satellite bulls, which most likely is what's going to come in. But if you get close enough to the herd and make that sound, you can actually call a herd bull in with that call. Kind of a secret weapon is the contact buzz. So that's a really good sound that I would consider learning if you need to. And what I have down so far for cow sounds, this is going to be our last cow sound that we're going to talk about today. If you have any more questions or you like what you're seeing so far, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do, man. I just really appreciate y'all watching and taking the time out of your day to kind of watch how I elk hunt. It means a lot to me. All right, so next is going to be one of the worst sounds you can hear when you're elk hunting. It's going to be what we like to call at the Good Time Crew the forbidden bark. So that's going to be an alarm sound for cow elk, bulls, spikes, you name it. If it's an elk, it'll make this sound. It's the worst sound you can hear. That either means that they smelt you, they've seen you, they don't like something that's going on, and this is the sound that they're going to make in order to tell the rest of the herd around them, let's get out of here. Okay, guys, to make this bark, I'm going to be using the Smith Purple Amp Diaphragm. So, like I said before, I'll leave the link to all these calls in the description if you need to get one or get one ordered. I highly recommend Phelps Game Calls. Never fails. So this is going to be what your bark sounds like if you haven't heard one, you haven't been in the woods long enough. Barks can ruin your day. So here it is. It's just a really quick, it's literally a bark, really quick, kind of letting the rest of the elk know around that there's danger and we need to get out of here, like I said before. One way that I like responding to a bark is by barking back. So a lot of people don't know this, but if you bark back at an elk that barks at you, it's kind of telling them like, hey man, just another elk, you need to chill out, you know, stuff like that. It'll kind of calm them down, and a lot of times it'll keep the elk in the area, and it's worked a lot for me so far. So usually when an elk barks at me, this is what I do. So that's one way that you can actually calm down an elk when it barks, and can actually provide shot opportunities later on. All right, guys, so next we're going to talk chuckles. If you've heard a bull bugle, you've probably heard a chuckle before. They don't always do it. More times they don't. Usually a chuckle is like, hey, I'm getting excited, here we go, we're getting going. So chuckles for me is all about cadence. You kind of want to keep it at a steady pace. Chuckles are fast, kind of like a duh, 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 if you would. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that sounds like on the Pink Series amp diaphragm reed. So you can either hear it just chuckles by itself, or you can hear a bark and chuckles, or you can hear a bugle with chuckles. This is the most common one that you'll probably hear, but let me go ahead and show you what it sounds like. So usually that would be the sound that you would hear. A bull's around cows. He's getting really excited. He has a hot cow near. That's the sound that you would hear when that time comes. Alright guys, so I know that this video has been kind of long, but that's kind of the basics of elk calling, if you will. Stay tuned. Probably either next week or the week after, I'm going to start doing actual tutorials on how to use a diaphragm, how to use an open reed call. I don't really use blue reeds anymore. I did when I was a kid, and that's kind of what got me hooked on elk hunting. But now I use strictly bugle tubes and diaphragms. So I'll go ahead and show y'all how to use those. We're going to start running some more Elk 101 calls this year. Rocky Mountain game calls is also really good. If you're wondering what kind of calls you need to get in order to start elk hunting, I would recommend Phelps game calls, Rocky Mountain game calls. Primo's has some good starter kits that you can get. So it's really just whatever your preference is, whatever you feel like spending on calls. Calls can get very expensive and pricey, and then you can buy really cheap calls. It's just all personal preference. Guys, also, week number 2, we do have good time gear. I have a few more hats. I have 5 more of these hats and 2 more of the green and black hats. So if you need to get those ordered, please let me know. My Instagram is right here. So if you need to get those ordered, just feel free to DM me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll get you hooked up with the newest gear that we got. Guys, also, if you have any more questions, comments, or concerns about what I just informed you on, I am no means by a professional. I just really enjoy elk hunting. I love being in the elk woods. I'm a guide, like I said, for Compass West Outfitters, so all the month of September I'm elk hunting. If you have anything that you'd like to input, please leave in the comments. Message me personally if you want to, and we can talk about things, what you do, what I do, and we can all learn new things together. So like I said before, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in and taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do. I appreciate you. I hope you had a good time this week. This has been Good Time Outdoors, New Mexico.